breaking news, Trump said there was nothing he could do. But it was Mexico who stepped up to save lives. While the floodwaters swept away homes, families, and hope in South Texas, the governor appeared on television, his voice shaking, saying his hands were tied, that he had no resources, no way to help. But someone did. From across the river, without cameras, without promises, hundreds of Mexican rescuers crossed over on their own. They came with backpacks on their shoulders, trained dogs by their side, and hearts full of faith. They didn't wait for orders. They didn't ask for permission. They just heard the cry of a neighbor, and they answered. And now, in the mud and rubble of cities like Laredo, Eagle Pass, and Mission, the loudest voices aren't speaking English. They're speaking Spanish. Mexican voices saying, hold on, we're here. Because while Trump locks himself in his office and the governor throws his hands up to the sky, Mexico is waist deep in the water, pulling people out alive. Today, Texas faces its worst climate disaster in years. The first to react was not Trump, but the people arrested in the United States. So ask yourself, if you believe Trump's immigration policies are wrong, drop a "Thank you, Mexico" in the comments. And share this story before politics buries it.
This is crazy. I know we're not Kirk County. I know we're not Kerrville. I know we're not San Angelo or San Antonio. But hell, we're human beings. Help us. Give us what we need. We are a older community. A lot of our people don't have insurance. They don't have money. Kind of a forgotten community for Travis County. We're unincorporated. We are their unwanted stepchildren out here, unfortunately. We had no warning. Nobody notified us. 2:30 in the morning, people that could get out came to this parking lot. Nobody was here. No firefighters, no police, nobody. We did not see Travis County sheriffs until 10 o'clock the next morning, who were rolling through and saying, you all need to evacuate. I opened a TikTok page, walking through H-E-B, buying non-perishable groceries, saying, we need help. Get me the media. Get me some official. Get me water. Get me anything we need, please. We have nothing. And I'm just trying to do whatever I can. I've had people stop me this morning and say, here's some more water, take it with you. Here's some more food, take it with you. Like, this is what we do out here as a community. But for God's sakes, Travis County, help us. Don't treat us like we're nothing out here, because we're not. We're human beings. We pay taxes out here. Don't treat us like this.
So I'm going to make this short and quick. My community and the road that I lived on has been impacted by the floods, but they're not really talking about it on the news. I've battled with disclosing where I live here on TikTok, but we could use some help, even if it's just a tiny bit. I don't get a whole lot of views. I don't have a whole lot of followers. So if I do get some help, cool. If we don't, we don't. I at least tried, right? So where I live, it's called Nameless Road in Leander, Texas. If you want to look it up, specifically Sandy Creek is where it really impacted. I was lucky enough that my family and my house and my business we're fine. We're good. We just went like a day without power. We were kind of trapped on our road and couldn't leave for a little while, but they were lucky enough to one side get cleared up, but other people are not lucky and they can't leave, and they're still stuck in their little community and they're feeling isolated. But HEB is on the scene at a church, and it's Round Mountain Baptist Church. I left a link in my bio where it goes directly to their website, and then there's like a green bar where you can leave a donation. For the longest time, people weren't helping. We weren't getting aid. I mean, we still aren't really getting the aid that we need. So it's kind of just the community coming together and helping. We're getting volunteers for cleanup. We've had search and rescue out on my property. We have a helicopter flying by every day searching. The death toll in Sandy Creek is hard. I'm just gonna say it's hard, and there's still people that we haven't found. Houses got swept away. There's, on my property, at the very back end of my property, there's a creek, and we searched the creek, and we found cars. It's just devastating, and it's hard, and I'm very limited on what I could do at my bar because, like I said, there are people who cannot leave the community, and some of our staff and some of our employees live there and they can't get here to work. And so tonight we're having like a whole free event for kids. We're playing movies, we're doing crafts, I'm picking up snacks at Sam's Club right now, so it could get their mind off of the devastation, so they don't have to just, so they have something to do, at least for a night. Some of them, they don't have a house to watch a movie or anything like that. So now we're also planning some future events in the future. I booked a band that's a really well band out here. I mean, that's the only thing I know how to help, is event plan. And so we're doing a free live music one night where it's going to be just donation based, free cover there. The band's offering to play for free because it's not being covered on the news. Because our area is not being covered on the news, the band called us and was like, this is infuriating, and we're like, we agree, and they're like, we want to play for free because of this. And so that's what's happening. So if you want to check out the link in my bio. I don't have a lot of followers, I don't get a lot of views, but if you just want to, I don't know, it's a shot in the dark. It's just a try. It's just to get it out there. And if you want to do some research on your own and find out what I'm talking about, it's Sandy Creek in Leander, Texas, and you can look it up yourself. And HEB has been a huge help. They've been feeding us. They've been feeding the community. They've been giving out gift cards for groceries. They've been doing so much stuff for the little neighborhood. Like, it's great. It's heartbreaking. But just check out the link in my bio.
A community in Georgetown severely affected by flooding nearly a week ago is in the early stage of its long road to recovery. Residents and cleanup volunteers at Shady River RV Resort say they can't do it alone, and they're asking for help.
It went over quick, and it started flooding inside, and people was just stuck.
What was going through your mind in that moment?
Scared, kind of, worried about the other people.
Gene Tolliver has lived at Shady River RV Resort for 12 years. He describes the flooding over the weekend as a wall of water that caught his community by surprise.
It's sadness.
As cleanup continues at the resort, people living there and volunteers say they need local, state, and federal support, especially from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, to help with recovery efforts and to remove debris.
But as you can see, there's still plenty of damage. So why FEMA hasn't declared it a disaster yet, I'm not sure.
That was one thing they kept talking about, was when are they going to get this assistance? So is there kind of a timeline you can give us?
I would like for Bruce to address just the amount of hoops we have to jump through to get that FEMA assistance. So there's FEMA assistance, which we don't have yet. We're hoping to get soon. Then there's some state assistance. Then there's some things Williamson County can do.
You start with your insurance. Your insurance comes first. And then once you've exhausted that or know what you're going to get from that, then you can reach out to volunteer organizations to help.
Williamson County Judge Steve Snell says the county is also working on setting up a dump site for debris.
I just ask the community to be patient with us while we stand that up.
This was like a small community. Everybody knows everybody.
For the neighbors at Shady River RV Resort, the help they need goes beyond clearing debris.
They lost all their homes. They ain't got the money to buy another one.
While I was out at the RV resort today, one word I kept hearing again and again is help. Volunteers there say they need more hands, more equipment, and a plan to clear all of the debris piled across the property. In Williamson County, Farrah Walton, CBS Austin News.
Here's Joe from Georgia. So people are wanting answers to questions. And the questions are about why was the response from FEMA delayed with the Texas flooding? By the way, there were other rescuers in the area when it happened, but it wasn't from FEMA and it wasn't from the state of Texas. However, what has came out with this is, do you want to know why that the Department of Homeland Security Secretary didn't act faster? Well, it's because she put a rule in at one time that no expenses over $100,000 could be spent without her signature. And this is because, folks, by the way, they're broke, the Department of Homeland Security. They're having to spend money out of other budgets to take care of them. But it took her an extra 2 days after the flood. Now, there's 4 officials at the Federal Emergency Management said that they had to wait on the signatures. They had to wait to make sure that they could spend the money to do it. So the paperwork was signed 72 hours after the flood began. Trump has called, of course, to abolish FEMA. I don't think the problems with FEMA, especially in this incident, I think it's probably with the inexperienced, someone who doesn't have any business being in the job, running an organization that you know nothing about. It's not just a management position. So, Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, she missed it.
I've been going back and forth all week with Trump supporters about the reaction to the floods in Texas. Now, I'm not going to sit there and pretend like these budget cuts had anything to do with the actual natural disaster itself. Anyone with an ounce of common sense knows that. But they continue to argue with me despite the fact that I've showed them factual information about how the Trump administration is partially to blame with how it was reacted to. And that's directly tied to budget cuts from Doge. That can't be disputed. It's black and white on fucking paper. But now, I just found out a new detail that makes it even worse and really got me fired up. Apparently, there's a new rule that in order for FEMA to move forward with operations or whatever it is, I'm not exactly sure about the verbiage, but anything over $100,000 from FEMA has to have a signature from Kristi Noem. They were ready on Friday to move in, which would have saved a lot of people. That signature didn't come through until Monday. Fuck politics. Kids are fucking dead because of Kristi Noem and this bitch ass fucking administration. Fuck Trump. fuck Kristi Noem, fuck the entire administration, and fuck FEMA. Because, quite frankly, I'd rather ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission when it comes to saving lives. So yeah, fuck FEMA too. Y'all can get fucking bent. MAGA, MAGA, whatever the fuck y'all want to call yourselves, y'all can get fucking bent too. Kids. Let's just focus on the kids. They lost their lives because of this administration. Would people have lost their lives anyway, had the proper measures be taken? Possibly. There's absolutely no way to know for sure exactly what would have happened had the right steps been taken, the preventative steps. But the fact of the matter is, FEMA was ready on Friday and didn't move until Monday because they didn't have a signature. A man lost his life saving his family. Another man had to toss his baby to a stranger so that his child could live while he washed away. This isn't about politics. This is about human decency. A trait that apparently nobody fucking has anymore. I'm fucking sick of this shit. These were kids who didn't have to die. And even the people on the left talking about FAFO, fuck around and find out. Oh, this is what they voted for. This is the fuck around and find out moment. Those are fucking kids. Shut the fuck up. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, all of you shut the fuck up. Kids lost their lives because this administration and these politicians lack decorum. They lack human decency. They don't know how to act like adults. I'm not a religious man, but I do believe in karma. I do believe that the universe balances itself out. And right now, this administration and its supporters are buying themselves a lot of bad karma. Fucking disgusting.
I'm from Texas. As a child, I attended camp in the Hill Country, the camp just up the road from Camp Mystic called Heart of the Hills. The director of the camp, who had been the director when I was a child, she unfortunately died in the flood. My husband attended Camp La Junta, where boys were swimming out of their cabin windows to survive the flood. We know of some parents there now who are connected to our friends who are on the ground searching for their kids still who haven't been found. And the word that keeps popping into my mind and has for days is gaslighting, because burning fossil fuels is heating our atmosphere and leading to storms that are more frequent and more deadly. And meanwhile, they're cutting funding from essential agencies like the National Weather Service that we need to protect ourselves, to protect our kids, to protect our families. And then when we start to ask questions and talk about who's to blame here, why is this happening, they accuse us of finger pointing. As the mother of a 6-year-old daughter, I mean, not a day goes by that I don't worry about what kind of world she's going to inherit. The fossil fuel industry has spent a lot of time spreading disinformation and lobbying our elected officials to stand up and deny climate with them. So when Trump visits Texas this weekend, we don't need empty thoughts and prayers. We need action. I've been on multiple threads with different parents, mostly mothers, who are just absolutely reeling from this crisis, who are talking about being scared going forward. Can we not protect our children if the National Weather Service is being defunded? What does it mean that this is happening, and what is it going to be like? And frankly, they're ready to take action, and they're ready to stand up to this administration. We won't sit back and watch renewable energy industry be destroyed, and we won't sit back and watch our agencies that our federal tax dollars fund to keep us safe be taken from us. We need to do everything we can to transition off of fossil fuels to clean, renewable energy as quickly as possible. And we need to make sure that in the meantime, all of our agencies that keep us safe are fully funded.
Hello, Americans. I'm Linda, and I want to talk about the aftermath of the horrific floods in Texas. As of now, 7 p.m. on July 7th, over 100 people are confirmed dead. Others are still missing. Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz said, quote, "Heidi and I continue to lift up in prayer the families of the victims. It is imperative that all Texans heed the warnings and guidance of law enforcement," unquote. Democratic Senator Joaquin Castro said the priority is to find and save people. Then, quote, "We have to figure out how in the future we make sure it doesn't happen again," unquote. Meanwhile, Mexicans are racing across the border to help. Volunteer firefighters from Acuña, Mexico are assisting rescue and recovery teams. Mexicans, you know, those brown-skinned people who speak with accents, the ones Republicans and the Trump administration want to round up and purge from our country. Yeah, those guys. Fortunately for the United States, Mexicans see beyond the wall we built to keep them out. They see people in crisis. They don't see Anglos, they don't see Americans, they see human beings. How different they are from the people on this side of the border. We see people who look like them and want them out of our country. We see people who look like them and allow masked men to drag them into unmarked cars and disappear. We see people who look like them and separate them from their families. We see people who look like them and build concentration camps to put them in cages. We see people who look like them and deny their very humanity. Christians, pay attention. Mexicans rushed across the border into a land that sees them as the enemy to help. This is what it looks like to have compassion. This is what it looks like to love your neighbor. This is what it looks like to live out Matthew 25. I would encourage, dare even, the Republicans and MAGA to look upon what is happening, to open their hearts, to feel shame at the way they are treating the brothers of the very people who rush to our side. But to be honest, I don't really want them to look too closely at the rescuers. If they did, I'm afraid someone would call ICE. To Mexico and her people, muchas gracias. Los amamos.
So yo, I need y'all to pay attention to this video.
I think there's going to be something that has to do with a camp. I think there's going to be something about something happening at a camp. It kind of felt like a sleepaway camp to me, but it could be just a campground in general. But there will be something that happens with a camp. So I saw that.
Did y'all listen to everything this lady said? She made this video on June the 26th, and I recorded it so y'all could see the actual date from her video. This lady spoke about something days before it even happened, and it came true. July 4th. Yo, the death toll is now 80 people in Texas, and the governor just warned that it's more rain to come. And y'all, the crazy part, this is only the beginning of hurricane season. We still have to the end of the year before hurricane season is out. Yo, I don't think y'all know how difficult and crazy this could get. Prayers to the family, and y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments, because yo, this is a lot. This is a lot. And TikTok, this is for entertainment purpose only. I'm only on here to bring awareness to my friends for educational purposes only. Y'all like, share, comment, and repost. Bye, y'all.
If you're pro-life, where's your outrage for the 27 missing little girls from Texas who got swept away from their camp on 4th of July? Where's your outrage for the Trump administration because they have defunded both NOAA and FEMA? And in case you weren't aware, NOAA is quite literally responsible for giving out those emergency warnings in the case of a flash flood or other severe weather incidents. And the Trump administration has defunded both FEMA and NOAA and continues to make cuts to NOAA. So I'm just curious, where's the outrage at the administration for allowing this disaster to happen when it was completely preventable?
The floods in Texas are not Trump's fault. They're not MAGA's fault. But the high death toll is exactly what MAGA voted for. Don't get it twisted here. It's not their fault that the floods happened. But it is their fault that the National Weather Service had their federal funding cut, which then impacts how much staff they have to do forecasting. So the scale of the devastation, the at least 90 people that are dead, the 11 people that are missing, that's what MAGA voted for. Because the fraud, waste, and abuse that they were cheering about cutting are critical services like this, which prevent devastation like this. Who knows? Who knows how many lives could have been saved if the funding for the National Weather Service had not been cut? This is the same shit that we saw as soon as this administration got into office and airplanes started falling out of the sky. And we told y'all it's because he's cutting the budget for the air traffic controllers. But no, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's not his fault, but it's what MAGA voted for.
There's one key question we don't have the answer to as the search continues for victims of the Texas Hill Country floods, and that is what public safety efforts were underway in the more than 3 hours between when the National Weather Service issued its flash flood warning and when the first reports of low-level flooding started coming in. Hey there, I'm Brandy. I'm a journalist in Texas, and here's what we know. First, the latest numbers, and I want to remind you that these aren't just numbers. These are people, their kids, their families, and the ripple effect of these losses is almost immeasurable. The Kerr County Sheriff shared this morning in a press conference that 95 people are dead in his county. 36 of those are children, and 161 people, again, this is just in Kerr County, 161 people are still missing, including 10 campers and a counselor from Camp Mystic. About 2,100 search and rescue personnel are on the ground looking for anyone who isn't accounted for. And President Trump says he will visit the area on Friday. Now back to that question. Because we know the National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning at 1:14 a.m. It wasn't until 4:03 a.m. that the first reports of low-level flooding came in. So that's 3 hours and 21 minutes where there was no public action taken by Kerr County or Kerrville Emergency Management. In fact, the city of Kerrville didn't send out any alerts until it posted on Facebook around 5:30 a.m. Here's what the sheriff said in a press conference this morning.
The Hill Country is not a one-size-fits-all place. First responders from emergency services throughout Kerr County promptly responded to the recent emergency as the situation unfolded. As with other significant events that are emergencies services encounter, this incident will be reviewed. You have my word. When or if necessary, if improvements need to be made, improvements will be made.
The Texas Tribune did a great deep dive on this, and the Associated Press reached out to the Texas Department of State Health Services to learn about Camp Mystic and the inspection that it passed 2 days before the flood hit. Those articles are here if you're interested in reading them.
Today, in what seemed to be incomprehensible and unimaginable, us Texans want to thank the world for their love and support.
Over the last week, the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country has received more than $30 million through the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund. Gifts offered in the spirit of compassion and community to support those impacted by the disaster.
You see, those gifts come from Democrats, Republicans, they come from black people, they come from white people, they come from brown people. The division that's in this world is unimaginable. But y'all have proved that there's plenty of love to go around. You know, it's time to quit pointing fingers at whose fault this may be. Maybe it was just a natural disaster. And you know, I'm thinking that FEMA must have got their act together because their boots are on the ground and they're not skipping any houses due to the signs that's in their yard. Donald Trump is over there as we speak. And good things are going to come out of bad things just because of the love that's in this country. Texas wants to thank the world for their support.